Race number 1. Let's see who's going to make it into the Daytona 500. Or, sorry, the Daytona 250, because we're only running a 50% race. But we are going to be racing very soon. Tonight, I have Justin in the booth with me.
Hello.
I have Travis the Son.
Howdy.
And I got our in-race reporter of old Johnny Boy, one of my guys.
Which you won't be able to hear.
Yeah, because he is going to be racing. So we have Brett the Jet, Pico Gator.
Join.
Tennessee Titan.
Join Denkate.
I'm working on it. Sorry. Blue screened. Okay.
F, Old Guy 6, Dank Booty Flate 2nd, Private Patton 8th, 9th is Fire Slayer, 10th is Warpig, and I'll let you take the rest there, Shackett.
Yeah, and then starting 11th, we have Aquatati. 12th, we have his team owner of Robbie. Then 13th, we have Monster Racing. 14th, we have Blaney. 15th, we have Bad For You. 16th, we have Brinkerhoff. 17th, we have Johnny Boy. And rounding out the field tonight in 18th is Memory. So what are you guys looking for tonight as far as the first duel versus the second duel?
Team racing. Like, who's going to work good together?
I think there's a couple guys here that will definitely work together. Aquatati and Robbie, they're going to be pretty much inseparable most of this race. Private Patton and P. Cola, Guardian, those guys all race together typically, and Fire Slayer and Warpig possibly. So you got 3 or 4 guys that will be trying to race together as quick as we can, but we should be staying as one pack unless we either A, get a wreck, or during pit stops is when we'll finally break up a little bit.
Yeah, and as far as looking at the lineup, as far as going from, Duel 1 to Duel 2, you have a lot of heavy hitters in Duel 2, or in Duel 1, where you don't have very many heavy hitters in Duel 2. So, Duel 1, I'm going to be very curious to see if guys are just going to ride single file, because the thing tonight that we have to, we're going to be bringing up a lot tonight, again, is you do not have to win. You have to be in the top 12 finishing order in this duel to make it into next Tuesday's race. So, you obviously, if you're here with a teammate, want to make sure you're helping your teammates advance because you want as many numbers as possible representing your team at Daytona and the big race next time. So, unfortunately, a lot of these guys who don't have teammates, they're going to have to try to find somebody to work with, or they're going to find themselves hanging out at the back and not really having those friends to make the moves to really get in the top 12.
Right, and we have 18 guys in here tonight, and 6 are definitely going to be going home and waiting for next week. So it's going to be very interesting to see who is able to stay out in the top 12, and I think as long as everyone's able to keep it clean, and looks like we're already getting to single file racing out here. I raced on Sunday, and it was a mess from the get-go.
Right.
Tell me about
it. Absolutely.
So this is already cleaner than Sunday. We already got it single file. This is Sliders, by the way. This is the Cringe series. This is Sliders, not custom subs. That'll be run on Thursday with yours truly.
Yeah.
And me. Don't forget me.
Oh, yeah. And you, yes.
And the other thing, too, is you can see right here, Monster already is in a very bad position because he is trailing behind the field. And if he can't regain the draft, he's going to lose it and potentially be out of contention already.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because of the fact that we don't have cautions on...
yes, there is cautions. There's no stages.
I believe cautions are off, if I remember correctly.
I asked yesterday.
No, they're off.
We'll come back to that. We'll have more info for.
We got a car
47
in the grass,
of old Johnny Boys in the grass. Not sure.
Oh,
little on track
Ooh, who's
No
the
one's breaking.
So 47 is owned by Denkate, unfortunately. So
Yes.
as of right now,
And that's our
he's
in-race
going to be
reporter.
out of the draft.
Ooh. And that's also our in-race reporter there, too, so...
Yeah. Oh,
I know we're not necessarily going for the win, but who do you think... And I don't like to call it aggressive, because it's not being aggressive when you're trying to make moves. Who do you think might bite the bullet and be too aggressive at making moves that's potentially going to get them out of...
I know exactly who that's going to be. It's going to be Brett the Jet.
I actually would go with Dank Booty Flakes.
I'm saying that if he has to be. Like right now he's running third, he has no reason to be aggressive.
Right.
But if he somehow, after the pit stops or something, he's in that bubble spot.
Ooh, we have a car in the
51
wall.
into the
Robbie is in the wall.
Yeah. 51 bounced off the apron.
So now we're going to see here, because so the one thing that I noticed right off the start is his teammates all travel to the back of the pack. But the hard part is it worth going back and picking him up?
No. Well, and Robbie Racing in the 11, he's actually he's lost the draft now.
Yeah, he got into the wall, I believe the same way the 47 got into the wall. I just believe the 22 gave them too big of a hit, and it pushed them out of the draft and into the wall. So right now, as it stands, if there's not a big wreck, those two are going to be out of the show for next week, which is going to be very...
But it could come down to strategy, pit strategy too.
It could, absolutely. But I'm very... So back to what we were just talking about. While we're sitting here single file, because, while we're sitting single file, we can talk about other things. The one driver that I first came to mind with, maybe being too aggressive with moves and wrecking themselves out, I thought of Taddy, because we all know Taddy is not afraid to make moves. But he is sitting fourth to last in this draft. This is a very calm, cool, and collected version of Taddy that a lot of people don't see at restrictor plates. But I believe as of right now, if we count the cars correctly, he's sitting just outside, I believe, of the... Yeah, he's 2 spots outside of the top 12.
Yeah.
And it's a very difficult decision because he sees his team owner losing the draft. So, if anybody's watching this for next race, what do you think they're looking to is, giving space. That's the biggest thing in the corner. You have to give space.
Ooh, they shuffled out double zero.
And we have a couple mentions in the broadcast chat. We got Tom Horton saying first. Denkate's muted. Poor Robbie. And then we have... Oh,
sorry.
That's okay. And then T-Bird, rest in peace, Robert. Ooh.
So, Dirt Dog, you will see in the next duel. He is a driver for the Knievel Motorsports team.
And I think we'll see. Ooh, is he driving an unsponsored car? Let's see. No, I've never seen that paint scheme.
Sorry, the dogs were barking.
That is okay.
What team are you talking about?
The number 3.
No,
Blaney.
That's the Darlington throwback for
Denke, make sure you're cycling through the field.
Nice, I am
a little bit. Hamilton
Blaney's
was out
another
there.
one too. He can be pretty aggressive, but again, he's usually aggressive only if he has to be. I honestly don't see anyone in this field doing anything unnecessarily aggressive.
I don't see things happening until after pit stops. Because the biggest thing with pit stops is you need numbers. If you can get at least 5 or 6 drivers who can run bumper to bumper coming off pit road and keep the speed up, you could run faster laps than the 2 or the 3 pack drivers.
Right. Well, but here's the thing too that to consider is you want to at least have 3 guys go in with you without a doubt.
Right.
But because of us having just one pit stop here, if someone behind you sends it in a little too hot, gives you a speeding penalty,
Right.
your race is over.
That's where, even though they may not be on your team, but I believe a lot of these teams were in communication with other teams and saying, hey, let's work together for the duel. Let's make sure we can get our team in there. And that way, when you come on pit road, you can all say, hey, I'm going to go far left. I'm going to stay right. You know, I'm going to pull back and stuff like that. That way, you can coordinate. And if you've raced with that group of guys before, you know how they get on pit road. You know how they break. And so it's going to be the thing. The deal breakers are going to be getting on pit road without spinning, getting off pit road, and getting hooked up ASAP. Because the longer you wait to get hooked up, the longer those cars that pitted before you are going to be pulling away.
Yeah, well, Dank Booty Flakes is going to go from 4th all the way to about, I believe, 9th. He thought about
cutting in front of the 95, but with high draft on, it's the draft. You know, that car can close up in a split second. But the two cars in the back now, him and whoever he's riding with in the back, they cannot be racing side by side. They have to make sure that they're locking back on to the end of the pack.
Right, and you see where I'm actually following Dank Booty Flakes. Following him right now. He was trying to go to the outside for a second on Monster in the 22. Thought better of it, tucked back down behind. But yeah, if you're going side by side, even on high draft, you're going to lose a lot of time.
And if you're the drivers in the back, don't make a move.
Right.
Just be patient, sit where you are. I like what Taddy is doing. Taddy has about a 2-car length gap. Oh, the 22 just shot to the left.
Yep.
I think that was a lag thing. So the
yeah,
22
I think so too.
is going to be Monster Racing.
Yep.
He is now another driver that's probably going to lose this draft. So he's going to be the 3rd driver if something doesn't work in his favor to be out of the draft.
Yep. So that now leaves us with 15 in the main pack now.
So if you're those guys that have lost the draft, what are you going to do? Are you going to pit early and take 4 tires and hopefully gain a couple of spots coming with fresher tires? Because if some of these guys take 2,
mean, there's really, I'm going to be honest with you, there's really not much you can do, right? I mean, you got everyone that has left the pack is all staggered in different spots, so you can't slow down, you can't really do anything. The only thing you can hope for, and I did tap into Teddy's stream, so Dan Kate was right, we do have caution, so it's really just, we're going to have to hope for a caution at this point for those guys to get back together.
Yeah, and the thing is you may not even see a caution until it comes to pit stop.
That's possible, yep.
And the other thing, too, is if a caution comes out, that could be a key factor on everybody being aggressive and really trying to use that outside lane, because I keep going back. You don't need to win. You need to be in the top 12. So these guys that are running mid-pack right now in like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, they're going to be content running where they are because this is a secure position for them to make the next race next week.
Right.
They don't need to make a move, have nobody go with them, and then completely fall out of the top 12.
Exactly.
And
now,
we have a comment in the broadcast chat. Hamilton's wondering if it's 1 times or 2 times where. It's actually 2 times where. And then T-Bird answered it.
And Travis, so I think you can agree too.
Dank Booty Flakes. Sorry, I don't mean to talk over everybody.
No, you're good.
The 36, and the 51 are on the bubble, and apparently Taddy is too. But 51 just hit the wall hard, and he might barely be sniffing the draft here. We'll have to see in a couple laps if he's able to get back up there to him.
And the 51, I believe, is, if I remember correctly,
Spanker.
Let me scroll. Spanker. So he's going to get the draft because Dank is running side by side in a position that he cannot be running side by side. It's not helping him because right here he could potentially lose the draft now trying to fight Taddy for that position.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing too is the only driver that should really be mirror watching right now, even though we're still early in the race, which I don't know how many laps we have left. Johnny, when you go across the line, can you tell us? Is the driver in 12th place. They are the only driver, maybe the guy in 11th and 10th. They're the only 3 drivers that should really be paying attention to who's behind them and what they're doing for moves, because pack could get a run coming to the end of the race, and you could find yourself in, and then you cross the finish line, and then find yourself one spot out, and you may have not even known it.
Right. Well, here's the thing: is again, because it's a restrictor plate track. I'm sorry, Johnny. What was that? Okay. So we're not quite to halfway yet. But the other thing is, too, is that the first drivers to pit are going to have the momentum off of the, more than the other drivers pitting. So if, let's say the back half of the field pits first, and that front of the pack pits second, that momentum will carry the back of the pack past those other cars coming out of pit road and completely change things up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And like I said before, you know, right now, the best person right here is Pete Gator. You know, he's been out front the whole time. He doesn't really have anything to worry about because I don't believe anybody behind him is really going to be making a move. Yes, some people are going to say this is boring, but this is life or death. Like, this is the new qualifying format for this league.
Right. Well, and the other thing, just to this race here, is number one, if you make it in Daytona, you have a pretty good chance of making it on, you know, because of where you're situated in points.
Right.
For the next week.
It looks like we
got a lot of takers.
Half of the 3/4 of the field is going to pit here, so we are going to get on board with the front half, Denkate.
Well, we've got 23 laps of fuel is what these guys have.
So Denkate, whoever the first driver is to go down, you stay on board with them, and I'm going to stay on board with the drivers who don't pit.
Big crash.
They're wrecking.
Caution.
Caution is out.
So that's exactly like I said. You don't... Is caution out? Are you sure?
I don't know.
Yeah. Caution is on Speedway. So, again,
caution is out.
This is what we talked about earlier, Travestine, is pitting with a large group is not always going to be working in your favor. That's why you want to get a small group of guys.
Looks like the 7 car there, I don't know if he was meaning to pit or if he had a second thought, but he was not clear and caused a big wreck. But the good thing is that the guys who were in pit road when the caution came out will definitely be at the front of the pack, and that's going to help the 36 of Warpig, because he was the one that was in that, he was like 13th or 14th when they were getting ready to come down to pit.
These 5 drivers that are not on pit road right now, if they made pit road, they're going to be sitting golden. And the guys who lost the draft are going to be called back up now.
Yep.
So now you have all 18 drivers back in this, and you can make it from here. So every driver's full can of fuel, 4 tires, more than likely. Some drivers probably still took 2.
All right, so Teen Titan left a hole for Taddy, who's now in 3rd place. Warpig is up there in 4th, 5th place after riding in the back there and out of contention. This is where it's going to get wild, guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to have guys that are going to be on 4 tires in the back. You're going to have some guys that took 2. So these guys on 4 tires may try to push the limits on the outside. But it looks like right now everybody's still going to go single file because, like I said before, they don't want to make moves. There's no reason for them to make moves.
Right. Well, and the I'm pretty sure everybody took 4 tires since it was caution, but yeah. Now you got guys on the outside, the 00 Guardian, Brinkerhoff right behind him in the 8. Brinkerhoff's able to get down there. Guardian can't, and Guardian was up there in the front. He's usually a top driver. Now he's getting freight trained.
So I'm not too sure if everybody took 4 tires because that 24 is really loose, and he was not that loose in the first run.
I just think he was leading at one point, and now he's running second. So he's probably just trying to get his car together.
And it looks like Old Guy is going to be potentially losing the draft, but Dank Booty Flakes again is going to take it too wide all by himself, which is actually going to let the 7 close back up and create a big enough hole for him to get in line.
Yep.
Ooh. So, Old Guy, and the whole reason for that wreck is it looked like the 7 braked earlier, but again, they weren't all in a communication with each other.
Right.
And it looks like somebody ran him over from behind, which caused him to take out the 51 in the process.
Yeah, it was those Rick Ware cars.
Ooh.
But the one person that got on pit road was Warpig, and he's currently sitting, I believe, 4th.
Yeah. He's
So
the biggest
he's in a good
benefactor of
spot.
all that.
And, you know, Robbie Racing, I believe, is now in the one of the locked-in positions from losing the draft.
Yep.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, we got some comments on
Johnny
YouTube.
Boy, I think he's at the... Everybody blames Spanker T-Bird. It's okay. And now old Johnny Boy has, you know, he's back on the lead, or back with the draft, but he's now at the back of the pack. So, if correct me if I'm wrong, you two, but if you're old Johnny Boy, do you try to make moves, or do you just wait for people to slide up and get a nose under them and push them out of the draft?
Hard to say.
Well,
There's a lot of dice in right
Dake is
there.
doing that right now to Old Boy, and Old Boy's
Yeah.
coming down on him pretty hard.
That's the other thing too, is you don't want to be aggressive because.
Oh.
Do we have a wreck?
No,
Almost
almost.
had one, our in-race reporter and the 7 about wrecked each other.
So we're going to go to the back of the pack and ride along with the back of the pack, because now the 47 again is going to lose this draft, which sucks for him because he's been good at restrictor plates. He may have to draft a little bit. I don't know 100% sure. Can he
So I think
confirm or deny?
the cutoff is right about where the 8 car is.
Oh, but they're going to go too wide, so that may help him now.
Yep.
And it
See,
looks like he's closing up.
everybody has gotten loose after those pit stops.
Absolutely, because people may have made their car looser thinking it was too tight.
Exactly.
So if you're old Johnny Boy right here, you need to get a buffer car behind you. If you've already been... He's been very lucky, essentially, because they've gone side by side, which allowed him to close back up on the back of the pack.
And Johnny, if you get a chance, if you could tell us how many laps are left. Okay,
So we have 11 to go. And
all right.
there's not any give or take right now. Nobody is leaving space between them and the cars in front of them.
No.
I'll tell you one thing, though. You can tell who's racing a wheel and who's
20,
racing a controller.
the 22, the 51. There's a huge stack up mid-pack.
Oh,
and
and
the 7's in the wall.
It just, like, shot everybody.
So if you're the 47 and I know the 47 can hear me, let the 1 go. Get behind him and push him.
Oh, man, the 7 did not need that. He is definitely out of the draft. He's got a lot of front-end damage.
And now the 47 has to make sure that he can get the draft of the 1 before he gets the draft of the back of the pack, because you both may be losing the draft.
Yep.
So again, like Den Kate was saying, Dank Booty Flakes, being the aggressive driver that he is, potentially left three drivers, including himself, out of...
Oh, thanks.
Well, that actually didn't do that. It was more of the 22, like...
I believe
Travesty
if
was
I saw it correctly, the 22 came down on the 51.
Well, here's the thing, guys. Here's what we're noticing. So, the first guy on the cutoff, I believe, is Brink. If it's not Brink, it's the car right in front of him. You got guys who are trying desperately to form something on the high side. As soon as they do that, everybody else tries to go high, or they're trying to block, and it's just causing chaos right now.
Yeah, and
Johnny,
this could
are you out of
allow
the draft
Johnny...
completely? Are you out of the draft, or are you getting a little bit? Yeah, so unfortunately right here, and it looks like the 51 is falling off. So let's kind of go through the pack right now, and let me count the drivers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me get to a view that I can actually see.
So, let's see. I think, let's see, Private Pat, I think, is 6th.
So let's count 6 cars from the back. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe... So old Johnny Boy's got the 7 behind him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I believe the Guardian in the double zero is the first car out, which means I believe the 3 is the first car on the cutoff.
7, 8, 9. Well, let's see. 8 cars in 9th. 10th is the 3. 11th is the 00, and the 88 is 12th.
Oh, we have a stack up. The 3 car just got shoved out, and the 00 is trying to get back in line. So it looks like we have, I believe that's the 88, or is that the 11?
I believe it's the 88 who's
that's getting ready to make a run.
Well, the 88's in 12th right now. He's got a block like nobody's
Somebody
business
at the
right
front
now.
is...
I say there is going to be at least one more caution. The way they're racing right now, there's going to be one more.
Well, but that's the thing, right? I mean, if you're first through 11th, you don't care, right? You're just unless you get a big run. So that first car of chaos, I will call it, remembering the 88, he's going to have to do a lot of blocking, and Dang Booty Flakes is extremely aggressive, and it's going to be interesting to see how wide his bumper has to get.
So currently right now, who is the driver looking on the outside? Who's the one driver at the cutoff?
The first driver outside is Dank Booty Flakes, and then it's the 51, and then the 22.
So Dank is one position behind. So the 88 is on the cutoff.
Yes.
Okay. And old Johnny Boy, when we get around again, can you just let us know? So this is going to be 4 laps to go, or 5 laps to go right here. So I'm going to stay on board with Taddy.
It should say just how many laps to go.
Is the one driver that I'm going to be curious about. Is he going to try to make a move, or are these guys just going to sit single file? And are we going to see a mix-up with the guys in the back?
I'm keeping my eye on this pack that's kind of separated a little bit with Blaney, the 3-car Guardian, the 00, and the 88. Those guys, because that's where the action's going to happen here.
And for the guys that lost the draft, we have to bring this up again. Just because they don't make Daytona, they're still going to get points from 27th on back.
Yep.
And don't forget, the 26th starting position, which we may have 2 because there are rumors that there is a driver next race that isn't going to make it. So there may be 2 drivers who make it in on highest finishing points from last season. So if you are a driver that finished high in C sliders,
all right, Monster Racing just hit the wall.
Yeah, it all
he's able to get back in the draft.
So the best thing for old Johnny Boy is, with him being such high in sliders, I believe he was last season.
He was the champ.
So he was the champion, so he could sneak his way in.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait, sorry, he was custom champ.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, the 24 got really loose off turn 4. I like what Taddy's doing. The car behind him is leaving a car length, and he's leaving a car length behind the guy or in front
Johnny,
of him.
if you could just tell us how many laps there are to go.
Should be 4. 3.
Yeah, it's 4 laps to go.
Yep, 4 to go.
And the other thing, too, after the race, I know people are going to be heated. I know people are going to want to fight. This is all for fun. This is a new format. We have not seen this format before. There could be weeks that good caliber drivers may not even make the show because you could see dark horses qualify and knock them out of the top 26.
Yeah, because there's no draft.
Right, Daytona is the equalizer. Anybody can do good at Daytona. You just need to know how to hold a line and make the right move at the right time. So, Dunkate, why don't you go on board with whoever's on the cutoff, just so we can watch that? Because I don't think
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It's the 88.
I think it's the 88.
Oh, so I was already there. I was already on him. All right.
And the 36 looks like he's maybe looking for a run. Do you think that's a good move on his end?
22 just tried.
No.
He went up.
If you're in the top 6, I would say where you are. You're locked in. Unless somebody wrecks you, you're gonna transfer into the show. And the other thing too is, I believe finishing order depends on where you start.
This is the inside row.
Inside lane.
Yeah.
Just FYI, this is 2 to go now.
Puddin says, laughing my butt off. Nope. Hold on.
Oh,
So
they
we're
almost
coming
moved
to
the
one
88 out
lap.
of the way.
Well, I guess that theory's
I'm
out.
going to stay on board with Dank Booty Flakes.
The one car, I know Dank. I know him very well. He's going to try to make a run here on this last
Dank
lap.
isn't going to make the show, he's going to give it a hell of a try. All he needs to do is get that run out of turn 4, side draft that guy, and hope he can get a push from somebody behind him.
Well, that 22 has been able to hang tough up there.
Yeah. And it's going to cut him off.
Yeah.
And it looks like somebody 3 cars in front is going to make a run because they backed off.
And I'll be honest with you, if I was the 88, I would just let off just a little bit.
This is the last lap, I believe.
And that's exactly what he's doing. The 88's letting off.
Yep. So you're Denke. If you're these guys, stay on the bottom. Stay on the bottom. Shut those 2 guys off. Because as of right now, Dank Booty Flakes is still on the outside.
Oh,
yep.
Oh,
they're wrecking. They're wrecking.
Oh my God! Who made it?
Fire Slayer got killed.
Did Fire Slayer make it before the 12th place car?
I don't know.
He spun across the line. Where
Fire
did
Slayer
he
came
hit
across
the line?
10th.
Who's the cutoff?
Fire. Oh, here we go.
I believe Dank in the 8
so,
on the outside.
Okay, guys. Guardian made it in, so Dank, Spanker, Monster Racing, Old Johnny Boy, and the driver of the 7 car, old guy, they did not make it.
So again, 2 of our picks, 2 of the more aggressive drivers, their moves did not pay off. The 51 and the 1 and essentially the 22, they, because of their moves, did not really make it in there.
No.
So
I'm really just shocked that they made that move there at the last little bit. I don't know why they did that.
Let's get Taddy up here real quick before we have to start that.
All right. So we have
I just want to see
Gator.
Taddy's views on this, and
But P-Cola is our winner.
So P-Cola is going to start on the pole for the Daytona 250.
Yep.
Yeah, he was out front all the way.
I know we've already harped on it, but Warpig, my goodness, he got the best of all of that right there.
Yeah. So essentially, like I said, those guys in the front shouldn't have really made them. I mean, I know they want to make a move because they want to get the best starting position, but that 7 could have not made it in if that would have happened 2 seconds prior. Because he essentially went from, I believe, 4th to 10th.
What's up, boys?
Hi, Taddy.
I heard you say let's get Taddy in here, so...
No, we just want to kind of get your views real quick before we start the next one. How did you think the race went? What are you looking forward to for the second one? What was your strategy?
Right. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, right, like, that was boring racing, right? But it's smart racing by most of the people. I tried making a few moves. It wasn't panning out. Even the people that were outside the cut line didn't want to go anywhere. So I figured, I was sitting 13th there for a while. I started making moves, which realistically, that's where you need to start making moves, is if you're in that position or worse, right? At the end of the day, everybody wanted to wait for the cautions, and then after the caution came out, people still stayed in line. I was a little shocked about it. I mean, I was running 3rd, right, and I heard you guys say, I don't know why Taddy made that move. He was in a spot. Via where I made the move, even had I end up in the wall or wrecked or spun like the 7 car did, you're still pretty good gap to 12th, right? Because I was in 3rd. And you got to remember, winning that race is also the pole for next Tuesday. So P-Cola gets the win. He starts P3. I'm starting P5 for finishing 3rd. So there's a big gap there in where you're starting and trying to hook up with your buddies and stuff as well. So a lot of strategy and a lot of things to happen on here at the same time, And man, the pit stops, that was a huge thing. I know that I told the guys in my chat, hey, let's pit halfway, let's split it, let's be the first group on pit road. And then half of them wrecked trying to get to pit road, but because we were already there, we didn't end up having a pit. So all those that did have to ended up, and it's funny because some people didn't even know that. The people that ended up on pit road with me, they're like, oh man, now we got to pit. And I'm like, No, you don't. Just don't pit. You're already getting 4 fresh tires
You're
and
already
fuel.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So,
Right.
I mean, it was crazy.
Well, that was one thing I noticed is that Warpig ended up getting the best out of all of that because he had been running 13th, 14th, came into pit with you guys, and ended up finishing the top 5 and making it in.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a strategy call is what you got to make. The reason I went with this race instead of the day race, first off, it's the duel, so night racing is great. Second is it makes it a 40 lap race and you only have 23 to the tank. If we'd have done it the other way around, you get 10 extra laps, so it's 50 lap race with 23 to the tank. Fuel strategy on who's saving could have determined that. And I didn't want that to be the scenario. I wanted the guys out there racing, so that's why we went with this one. And honestly, for duel number 1 out the door, we just had, I think there were 17 people out there that have never run with each other. I mean, that have run with each other, but you got some of the guys from C Group last season and stuff. I thought the racing was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So my one question for you is, looking at the list of drivers who make it into the Daytona race next Tuesday, who's kind of your favorite and who's your dark horse for the transfers in from race 1?
Hold on. Let's see who advanced. I sent a picture, but that doesn't mean I know anything yet.
Brinkerhoff would probably be your dark horse.
Yeah, Brinkhoff, he's going to be a dark horse, and really that whole team. So you got Brinkhoff and Ten Titan in the RCR clan. They were both C Group last season. They have a really good leader in Blaney in the 3-car, but that's their whole team right there. And it's going to be difficult to make it. It looks like there's still one more car. I don't know, maybe that's it. But Ten Titan and Brinkerhoff, they got a lot to prove this season, being coming up from the C Group. And the best way to do that is going to be make the top 16 points and lock yourself in for 2 weeks from now, right? So they're going to be a dark horse. That whole team in general, I think, is where you have to look. And then there's a few other people that are entering. Guardian, he was the 2nd overall pick in the draft. I don't consider that to be a dark horse by any means. But I don't know if I would have necessarily gone with him 2nd overall, right? So he's got a lot to prove and stick up for his team there for Flash Mafia. But all in all, I mean, it's going to be a pretty good season, I think. And what I just seen right there was a lot of good stuff.
And my last question for you before we have to jump out of here and go and get ready for race number 2 is, what do you think? Because we obviously saw a lot of heavy hitters in race 1, which we knew going into tonight. There was a lot of heavy hitters. We have Patton and Robbie and you and Piccola and those guys in race 1. In race 2, we have some heavy hitters, but there's a lot of guys who normally run mid-pack against some of these A-caliber drivers. So what is going to be your takeaway for next race, and what do you think we're going to see?
All right, so I want to reiterate that I don't know if it's going to be as tame. I don't know if you guys watch real-life duels, right? But usually one duel's pretty tame, and the next one's crazy hectic, people battling all over the place, lots more caution, stuff like that. So I don't know if that's the scenario. May or may not be. I don't know.
Not the duels this year, but yes.
Right. But and then on top of that, right, like you have these no-named drivers, as you say, right? You have big names, you have mid-pack names, and then you have the guys that are new. That they got to make an impression, and what better way to make an impression than get up there? We said about Brinkoff and his group, right? If the reason that I like Daytona at the beginning of the season, I like these duels. Some heavy hitters are getting taken out, right? Spanker, I think, got eliminated in that last race, and he was one of the top 6 drivers, Final 4 drivers in the A class last season, right, or B class. So big names get eliminated in this style racing. But I expect to see them and work their way up to the top 16 points as the season progresses, right? Whereas these other guys that are on the bottom, they have to lock themselves in now, And so, I don't know. I like it. I think it's intriguing, and this is one of those races that keeps every single car in the pack eligible to advance. So I'm really looking forward to this second duel.
Yeah, and the other thing to bring up in the second duel, too, is, we have a lot more team cars being represented in Duel 2. We have, I believe, 3 of the Chaos Crew cars. I believe we have 3 of the Knievel Motorsports cars. We have 2 cars from probably your dad. So there's a lot more teammates that are going to be represented. Do you plan on seeing teams working together? Like during the off season, did teams get together and say, hey, I know we're all battling for our top 12, but let's try to get majority numbers to, kick out some of these other guys?
Yeah, team aspect's huge. Actually, I talked about the RCR clan. How they're kind of the underdogs, right? They actually stayed nose to tail most of that race. After the caution, they got separated, hard to get back together. But at the beginning half, the strategy got them together. Me and Robbie, we're really good friends, and we work really, really well at a lot of tracks. Never panned out here at Daytona for us to be able to get nose to tail. So strategy as a team is great. Pitting together is going to be what helps that strategy stay together. But at the end of the day, it's Daytona. If car gets in between you, you got to do what's best for you and hold your line. If you're in 12th and your teammate's in 13th, sorry about your teammates' luck. 12th place makes the 500, 13th's going home. So if I'm a driver out there, yeah, I want to help my team the absolute best that I can. But come the final lap of the race, I'm doing what's going to get me into the show. So I expect that kind of race. And there's other racing that there's Texas is Chicago in 2 weeks, right? Chicago is one of those ones that you guys can stay together on track and draft together and be faster. That one position ain't going to be such a big difference. But here at this track, it's a little different,
Yep. Well, it's like Darrell Waltrip used to call it wapetition, and that's pretty much what you had until one lap to go. And
yeah, boys, I got to get off here.
I
gotta get that next race set up.
Okay.
Well, that was fun to go. I have to go get exciting. Off my suit and put on my fire suit and my helmet.
There you go.
I will be in duel number 2, driving the number 43 Knievel Motorsports.
Yes, that's what we'll be driving on Thursday.
So, guys, wish me luck. As of right now, I'm going to be starting one position outside the cutoff. So we're already a little bit in a deficit, but I'm excited. The biggest thing that I would take away is the drivers that did not make it, don't give up. It's race 1.
Yeah.
It's a restrictor plate. Like Taddy said, Chicagoland is another track where you can draft, but you're not going to be in this racing kind of style. You're going to be with your team running laps.
Well, the other thing, too, the two other things is it's really going to depend on where you start in this race and whether you're going to be lucky, especially with the what we saw with people coming down pit road and the caution and everything. So, Shaq, you're going to be starting 13th, and so you're going to be starting right in that bubble position, essentially. But you're on the inside, so, you should be able to be past 12th by the time everybody gets single file.
Yeah. And on that note, I better sign out so the next broadcaster can sign in.
Oh, you're not doing
Have a good night, everybody.
Yes.
I'll see you
have
later.
a good one.
All right. Well, everybody have a good one. Thanks for watching.